Hello, good morning, and thank you for joining another episode of Sales and Marketing Fry Talks. As usual, every second Friday, we share insights, best practices, and anecdotes from technology companies. So this time, we actually have invited Janis Rozenblats, who is actually a former VP of product at Pipedrive. He also was founder of Milagen, one of the email marketing pioneers here in Baltics and worldwide. And we invited him to speak about a topic what we probably touched previously many times already, but nevertheless, that still remains very, very important. And I think many of us would like to learn more about how to use it. It's about the ideal customer profile. And in this time, we're gonna to cover the practical part of that. So how that ICP can be used to identify your most valuable customers and how to actually optimize your marketing and sales based on that. So welcome, Janis.
Thanks, Andrei, for the opportunity, for inviting me, and I'm excited to share my experience and my practical knowledge of this topic.
Yeah, and we're looking forward to hear from you. Okay, let's maybe before we jump into the topic, could you maybe explain a little bit or share your kind of history of entrepreneurship? How did you end up with the Pipedrive?
All right. Well, I'm an entrepreneur for 20 years or so. I started very early, had my first web marketing agency that evolved into a full cycle kind of marketing agency, from building projects all the way to launching, scaling, growing traffic, and acquiring customers for our customers. And then we built our own SaaS product, software as a service, which was called Milagen, and the marketing automations platform. And 10 years later, we got acquired by Pipedrive, which is a best in the world sales focused CRM product for small businesses. And that was kind of soon before, or just before, Pipedrive became a unicorn. And I was part of that story, so to say, for the last 4 years on scaling teams, scaling products, rolling out new ideas, innovations. And last year was a year of learning a new topic for me, which was diving into the ICP and making it actionable, practically applicable to a business, and instrumenting certain tools, making it a go-to kind of tool for different functions of the business. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, it would be really interesting to learn that experience. But let's maybe just try to elaborate a little bit more. What do we understand by ICP? How particularly in your case you define the ICP while working on this project at Pipedrive?
So I think there are four what do you call it, characteristics that I would say relate to me when I think about ideal customer, not about ideal customer profile. But one is that they can realize a lot of value from your product. That's the first thing. That ideal customer is a customer that can actually get the value from your product. Second would be that it's attainable and serviceable customer, meaning you can find it, you can capture it, you can invite it over, to lunch, and they will come. You can throw a message at him in social media, he will listen. You can cold call, and he will listen.
Yeah.
So you can attain it, and you can service, meaning you have all the functions to service a customer. In enterprise world, it would be a much bigger team, longer sales cycles. So you have to be ready for that. But in smaller teams, you still have to be able to service a customer. So a support email doesn't get unanswered, or doesn't go unanswered for weeks, right? So you have to be able to support that. Third would be that an ideal customer is aligned with your vision. You might be launching a product today that's attracting different kinds of customers, but your vision is to remain focused on small businesses. You might be attracting enterprise customers, but this customer is not aligned with your vision ultimately for 3, 4, 5 years out. And the
Right.
fourth, that the customer is willing and able to give you feedback and grow with the product. And the feedback is a gift. That's great. So these are the 4 characteristics I would say are pretty much the ideal customer characteristics.
Yeah, you actually turn it into a very interesting perspective, because usually when we speak about the ICP or ideal customer, and again, in old days we used to call that just target segments, right? And nowadays it's a new name for that. Nevertheless, it's basically something what we define, as you mentioned, like by certain criteria, which maybe shows that this is a company which has some potential of using our product and realizing the full value of it. Like we look at the size of the company, I don't know, revenue, what they're having, and maybe number of sales employees, or in case of the CRM or any other basically criteria. And then we also look at some additional things what we can maybe use to identify whether they have a specific need or potential for using our product. But what I heard here from you, and I think it's very interesting also to incorporate in all these conversations about the ICPs, is about the alliance with the vision. So basically, it's not only about the today, but it's also about how this customer aligns with your long-term product vision, roadmap, and whatever else. So that's a very interesting perspective.
I would say it's very hard to achieve a vision by working with the wrong customer today. So if I have a vision of 3-5-year vision, and if I will be working today with the wrong customer, that will not help me to achieve that state. So therefore, I have to work
it will actually probably hold you back.
Exactly. It's a distraction and all. And that's the thing. Maybe a first benefit of having a clearly defined target customer segment or an ICP is having clarity. And clarity gives focus. And that's the number one thing, the benefit or value of having a well-defined ideal customer profile is to have that clarity and focus so you don't get distracted by building services, servicing, and then building product for the wrong customer in the long term.
Yeah, as soon as you started already to speak about those benefits, what other benefits you could mention here from using the ICP? The clarity is one, and I fully agree. Anything else?
I would say strategic alignment for the company. So every function focuses and serves on the right customer, starting with generating the right prospects through marketing or sales development activities, by servicing the right customers, by growing the right customers with success teams, by building the right product. It's alignment after going after that ideal or a profile, a single profile, or there could be a couple different profiles that you believe are equally well suited with this product. But that alignment, strategic alignment, is key. The third thing would be that it's much easier to assess and estimate and see the TAM or SAM, or total addressable and serviceable addressable market, just to estimate, is this market big enough, interesting enough for us to go after for 5 years? Because if we want to realize our vision of 3-5 years, we have to work with ideal customer. Do we have enough of them? Can we find them? Where are they exactly? And then productivity of sales and marketing is very key. They focus on they can track the marketing campaigns. Are they attracting the right customer or not? Is sales routing the right leads and to the right reps? Are they tackling the wrong customers? Are they spending too much time on the wrong customers? And then on the product side, it's actually a thoughtful product innovation that we can do by focusing on the right customer needs. If I have, let's say, imagine I have 1,000 customers for my SaaS product and everyone wants something. Who should I listen to? Whose pains and needs should I listen to? And what I've seen happens is companies go after the money often. who is the biggest payer, where's the biggest check that we should listen to, that company or that the company's needs, we should serve them. But often bigger paycheck or bigger kind of ticket isn't the ideal customer. They're an outlier in many cases. And so having a view on the target customer or ideal customer allows me to build better products. And then by doing that, the loyalty and retention of the right customer will skyrocket. And I can give you just some shocking numbers. So what we found, and now I've worked on with few companies on ICP development, is that an ICP customer versus none, and we're going to talk about how can we grade them, but let's say we have an ideal customer and then we have the far end on wrong customer. The value, long-term value or lifetime value can be 10, 12 times bigger for an ideal customer versus none. The trial to paid conversion is around 4 times bigger, and retention is around 3 times bigger, and ARPA, average return per account on monthly or basis, is at least twice. So imagine if I would know who my ideal customer is, and then go and grab that customer wherever they are, through marketing, targeted acquisition marketing, through events, through sales development kind of rep work. If I know who to go after versus just going and getting anyone that listens to us, right? So the value is just shockingly.
This is impressive stats what you are sharing. I assume that of course there are these benefits, and we see it from our projects as well. But this is really impressive. I think another kind of advantage of this, or another benefit, what we also can add to this list, what you just mentioned, is that basically you become super relevant to your audience, because again, as soon as you understand who are your ideal customers and you spend time on learning them and finding what exactly they are looking for in your product and how to satisfy this need, you eliminate suddenly a lot of competition, because staying broad, it's completely different story than being super narrowed, super focused, and super relevant. That's probably what also drives these results, what you just mentioned.
And so as companies mature, softwares mature, they become more generic. They I can tell you from my experience of building marketing automations tool, very soon we became quite generic. Early we came out with a niche. We came out with kind of, this could be the target customer, let's focus on that industry, on those needs. But then we became a quite generic tool, and that there was so much struggle then to where do we focus, who do we go after. So we went through exercises back in the day again. So let's say 7 years in, we lost the sight. We kind of had to dust off the target customer and we had to refresh. We did that, but we were not able to instrument our tools to be able to react properly and to kind of engage the right customers. So again, that was a challenge. Now, in the last project that we did, Pipedrive, we actually instrumented our tools and our reporting systems, our CRM systems with this data that makes it actionable. Is this the right customer? Is this the strategically best fit customer or not? And then we can route them. If we can measure performance of marketing, we can route the leads. We can listen for feedback or needs on product side. So this becomes suddenly this way of filter and segment the noise out from everything on my daily activities. It allows me to be more productive. It allows me to focus, and I can actually reduce some costs, wasting money on attracting the wrong customers or servicing the wrong customers, and treating different buckets or different groups of these customers differently allows me to, service better the ideal customer versus trying to please everyone.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you always, have this dilemma, especially when, you see customers are coming from all around, and your product suddenly is consumed by many different companies, maybe outside of those ideal customer segments, what you initially thought of. And it's kind of not easy to really, say, no, we will not, grow on that. We will rather stay very niche and focused. What do you think about this? Is it really the trade-off you have to make, or you still can do both?
Let's say if you have time on your hands to respond to every incoming sales inquiry, you don't need to really focus on anything specific. You have enough time to service everyone. Why not?
Yeah.
But at the same time, so it depends on what are your business goals and aspirations. If you want to grow 5x, that requires you to focus and invest your time in the right direction. So going after the right customers, growing your base. So there are two things, two levers, right? You grow your base and you grow revenue from your existing customers. Growing revenue from existing customers could be by building better product, more valuable product, adding more services. So you could be adding generic services and generic solutions, or you could add products that are more valuable or really valuable for your ideal customer, and therefore they would be willing to pay. They would pay more for you for the solution. And second, you could be growing your base. What you're talking about, there are many different types of customers potentially coming my way. Well, that is unpredictable. Whatever is coming in, let's say you cast a wide net, you do social media ads, and it attracts very random set of customers. That's because your advertising hasn't really targeted anyone specific with the messaging positioning to attract the right customer. Therefore, you get a mixed bag of potatoes there. Is that the way you're going to achieve the 5x? You're going to spend 10 times more money and time trying to grow 5x in this kind of shotgun approach. But if you narrow it in and you say, okay, out of all this bag of potatoes, this one is the one that I have to go and find, then you will go and you will have a measurement against which you can always track your accuracy. And then you will, there are more of these type of companies or customers or individuals here in this community, in this geo, in this event. And I'm going to go to that specific place because that's where they listen. So then my accuracy becomes 10 times higher, like 4 times higher, just because I'm focusing. And this becomes more predictable. My growth is more predictable because I control my actions, and I don't simply wait for random companies to approach me, but I go and I'm seeking the target customer.
Yeah, I think this is the key, what you just mentioned, that you basically manage this process. It's not a random, but it's manageable by you. You define how you grow and through what. And secondly, I can tell you that from my experience, regardless the size of the company, regardless the revenue what they generate, you never have enough resources. You always have to prioritize where do you spend your sales time, marketing budgets, and so on and so forth. And that is what you also mentioned, that this ideal customer profile or segmentation, whatever we call it, it helps you to stay focused and not to spread too thin all across and then basically ending up with very frustrating outcomes and results in the end of the day. Good. Yep. But now let's maybe move step forward. Now we understood why do we need that, how to actually get to there. What was your path to that? Because that is what also many times people ask, but how practically to build it, where to find data. Maybe can you share from your experience, how did you do that?
So it's a pretty simple formula. You need to find firmographics. If I'm talking about B2B, let's say solutions, it could be a software, it could be a product, it could be a service or something. You're working with companies, with businesses, so that information can be found, enriched online, and many sources. I'm going to mention some, but you need to decide, or kind of, I will give you 5 that I believe are kind of standard set. You can choose some of these, all of them. So you use firmographic information, like an industry from which the business comes.
Yes.
And it might be that your solution is already targeting a single industry, but then within that, you will see a subset of industries that you will be able to maybe identify in certain ways. But let's say industry is one of the firmographic. Geo, so which countries? Are you servicing everyone equally well? Or is that the mentality of American-based companies equal to India or Australia or Germany or France? And those are stark differences in mentality just alone. So the geo might play a big role here as well. The revenue of the company could be quite significant indicator of is it worth for you to really work with this or not. The number of employees and the number of roles, these 2 factors play together. It's like they show the maturity and complexity of the organization. Again, it depends on your product or service, who you're going after. But let's say these 5 firmographics: industry, geo, company, revenue, employee number, and number of roles. These 5 is what you grade. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But there's another characteristic which is really valuable, and I have not seen many companies consider that or use that, because it requires an enrichment of data, which is technographic information. So there are tools, and one of them is, let's say, Clearbit. There's other tools, online web tools, like similar, built with similar tech. They can provide an information about certain web technologies or technologies that a certain business uses by scanning their domain. So I can enrich a business domain. I can actually find out what technologies or what set of groups of technologies does this company use, and that can be very valuable to see what's the budget they potentially are investing in certain type of tools. It could be marketing tools. It could be that they spend $1,000 a month on some marketing tool, a single tool, which is really valuable information if you are looking for digitally mature companies, or you're looking for companies that are willing to spend some money, right? So technographic is really powerful, valuable. But now I have these firmographic and technographic information. I need to bucket it, and I recommend to create a table of the characteristics on one side, and then 3 columns. One is the highest priority, opportunistic, and deprioritize columns or buckets of customers. And in each, you put, which industries you believe, but most importantly, you can put your hypothesis out first, but then you need to validate it against quantitative and qualitative data. So you put, which industries are highest priority, opportunistic, and deprioritize. So you can create that kind of target customer view, but to create an ICP that is really data backed and driven, there's 3 behaviors that we would be measuring and then scoring for each of these traits or characteristics. One is, what is the trial to pay? If I have my existing product and I have customers coming in, what is the trial to pay for each of these characteristics? Then what is the retention, or how high is the churn for each of these characteristics? And then the third thing, which is really shows a bit of this value realization, which is the most important thing in ICP, is not who you think is the best, but who can extract the most value from you. Therefore, they will pay you more money, or they will be willing to pay because you're solving their problems. So it's about value extraction. And one way of measuring that could be through customers' health score, Or if you don't have a health score, a kind of advanced system, then you can identify the key value realization moments in your product, and you need to track them. You need to see that this customer is receiving that value that you believe is key from your product, and you need to track. And again, see health score or this kind of value extraction score for each of these characteristics. And then you will see that they're naturally forming these kind of buckets of value or score, and you'll be able to put certain customers or certain industries and geos in highest, opportunistic, or deprioritized grades or buckets. And that will create this view for you that you can then work with, but it's not yet fully instrumented for you to have it. And so if I can just run quickly over the next phase, which is that instrumentation of your systems, is by creating this view of different characteristics and scoring them, you can start grading your customers. And I call this a strategic fit grade, which shows the proximity, how close any single customer is to your ideal customer profile or to your target customer profile. So a strategic fit grading is an algorithm that gives a B, C, D grade to each of your customer. So as soon as a new trial signs up to your software, or someone submits an application for your service, you can actually grade them based on known values of these characteristics, and then the sum of that score will tell you, is it an A, B, or C, or D grade? Your business should focus on A and B customers, consciously work with them, grow them, source them. And C and D customers most probably should go almost in the self-service model, where you won't waste a lot of time. And why? They might be, from the outset, they might look good, but as I said, an ideal customer is around 10 times more valuable than non-ideal. Or this A grade customers around 10 times more valuable than D. So knowing that, it's almost like wasting money, throwing money out the table, resources, time, everything, by just pleasing that D grade customer.
Although it's more like short-term versus long-term win, right?
Yes, definitely. Often it seems like there's a big company with a lot of money potentially. You won't be able to retain them for more than 3 or 6 months, and it's going to be a pain because you will need to do custom development or service or something. And it won't be.
I think in the case of CRM, it can be very kind of frustrating when we know somebody just want to try some CRM tool. They sign up maybe for few licenses, and you think, oh, we have one, like, I don't know, enterprise customer with 1,000 employees and whatever else. But it's also clear that probably due to their internal policies, internal processes, and by design, they simply will not use your software for the long term. And definitely, I don't know, IT or security overrule that, and they will implement some enterprise solution, if not already, and so on. So that's kind of something what I imagine based on what you just explained.
Exactly. And that's the case. When you are, or it could be a too small customer to a big customer, or there's the complexities and everything, and it just kind of you hope, you believe, but by data already that this is not the place where you should invest your energy.
You have to have courage to believe to this and follow this approach what you just explained. Otherwise, it's not gonna work.
100%. But
listen, what I wanted to ask you now, when you explained all this model and with these buckets and the process, how you can implement that, could you give an example, like maybe from the marketing perspective, how to apply that? Because the challenge also, what we hear many times speaking to CMOs or founders of companies, that we know all these things, guys. We know who is ICP. We even have done these exercises, right? Many, many times. But The challenge for many still remains implementing or executing that. And you gave very nice kind of tips and experience of doing this. But maybe something very particular what you would like to share in the end of our conversation, like as illustrative example.
So let me give you an example, right? That. So by clarifying, by defining target customer or this ideal customer profile, now for marketing, I understand who should I be speaking to, about what problems and pains, right? So I'm not saying I have this generic solution for small businesses. I'm saying I have this specific solution for your, I don't know, manufacturing or real estate business or consulting business or whatever. And I know you so well in this, in UK, I kind of retail shop doing certain thing. I know your problem. I know your business. So marketing can speak to a single profile with high confidence. So that will attract, hopefully, the right execution. That will attract the right set of customers, the right profile of a customer. So that's number one. That's something that, you don't need algorithms behind a machine and reports, and not just on messaging side. But then, all right, let's say you create different versions of landing pages or different ads or different paths. The funnel is wide and you're capturing many different sources of traffic. And then they land on your website, they convert. Hopefully they convert. So then you can see the lead, the person, the account that is created, the lead that is generated. You can immediately score it, grade it, and you can see the performance of your campaigns or marketing activities by the quality of the lead that it generates. So let's say, we drive 1,000 customers to this landing page, and it generates 90% of D-grade customers. Versus I have now landing page of traffic that has, let's say, 500 customers coming that way, and 90% are A-grade customers. Suddenly, I turn off that one campaign and throw out the landing page, and I pour all the money in the second one that clearly generates the right set of target customers coming my way. So that's how powerful this can be if it's instrumented.
Yeah, this is absolutely a great example what you just described. I think it's also requires some changes in the way how marketing measures their results. So going beyond just leads generated and evaluating your marketing based on basically those customer segments and potential revenue what they generate or whatever is associated to that. And that will be completely different game in terms of ROI, in terms of appreciation of marketing delivering the growth.
It's excellent. Night and day.
Yeah, absolutely. I can imagine. So thanks a lot. These 30 minutes, went very quick and fast for us, but it was really nice and encouraging conversation. Thank you for that, Janis. And I believe that people can, really take a lot of this and go and implement that almost immediately, because those things doesn't require, as you said, like huge investments or anything like that. It's more about putting your mind into right kind of approach and process, and just make it your daily routine. How do you execute everything what you do in the context of those ICPs? And for everyone who is with us today, thank you for being with us. And I don't know if you have any questions, please feel free to post them on LinkedIn. We will follow up and answer. Otherwise, everyone else, just feel free to join our Fry Talks community by searching it on LinkedIn by using hashtag FryTalks and also subscribing to our podcast on any platform what you are using for the listening to podcast. Thanks a lot, Janis, and I'm looking forward to our next conversation. I hope that we will have another chance to learn from you, and I wish you all the great success with your journey.
Thank you for having me.